So we're not just talking about closing an account today. Now, we're going way beyond that. We're talking about the complete, total decommissioning of an entire Azure tenant. And trust me, this isn't some simple cleanup job. This is a massive, high-stakes digital operation. You know, it's so easy to think you can just hunt down a delete button somewhere, give it a click, and you're done, right? It's a nice thought. But the reality? It is way more complex. And honestly, it can be incredibly dangerous if you get it wrong. The best way to picture this is to think of it as a high-stakes digital demolition. You're literally tearing down the digital skyscraper your business used to operate in. And just like a real-world demolition, one wrong move, one misplaced charge can cause a catastrophe. We're talking about irreversible data loss, massive security holes, or huge compliance fines. The stakes really couldn't be any higher. And with any demolition, success or failure isn't decided on the day of the takedown. It's all determined long before you even pick up a digital sledgehammer. It all starts with the master blueprint, the planning phase. This is where you stop disaster before it even has a chance to happen. So your entire plan really rests on three absolutely non-negotiable pillars. Number one, get official written signed-off approval. Number two, back up absolutely everything. And we are going to get into what everything really means in a second. And three, audit every single resource so you know exactly what you're up against. If you skip even one of these, believe me, the whole project could come crashing down around you. Look, when I say back up everything, the scale of that is just massive. This isn't just about your files. We're talking VM images, full database exports, every blob in your storage accounts, and, this is a big one, all your app configurations and secrets. I mean, can you imagine losing the keys your apps need to run? Your backups would be pretty useless then. Oh, and the one thing people always seem to forget? The logs. You have to export them and store them somewhere safe, outside of Azure, before you even think about pulling the plug. And listen, those backups aren't just for your own peace of mind. They are very often a legal requirement. Just think about industries like finance or healthcare. You could be legally mandated to hold onto data for a decade, maybe even longer. If that's the case, deleting it too soon isn't just a simple mistake. It's a major compliance violation that can cost you a fortune. So, the whole point of this audit is to build a complete dependency map. You need to know what services talk to each other, what third-party tools are plugged in, are there any connections to a data center back on-prem. This map is basically your insurance policy against accidentally severing a critical link or leaving behind orphaned resources that just sit there, racking up a bill for months on end. Okay, so our blueprint is solid. Now it's time for the main event, the execution. This is the careful, methodical takedown of your digital structure, piece by painful piece. The very first move, you cut the power. You have to shut down every single active service. This does a few things. It immediately stops all processes, it prevents any new data from being written, and, maybe most importantly, it stops any runaway costs from building up while you're doing the demolition. And this is so much more than just stopping a few virtual machines. It's about disabling all those automated scripts that might try to spin up new resources. It's about shutting down the front doors, like your application gateways, and halting any serverless functions so you don't get rogue API calls. It is a systematic shutdown of every single moving part in the entire system. All right, the power's off. Now you secure the site. And that means evicting everyone. Every single user, every guest account, every service principal has to go. You want to be left with just one person holding the keys, your demolition supervisor, that one global admin account that will do the final deed. And that eviction list is long, let me tell you. It's all your regular users, any B2B guest accounts you have from partner companies, and of course, the automated service principals that your scripts use. You also have to take apart the security itself, things like MFA policies, before you can even remove the users they're protecting. It is a total security wipedown. And now for the actual demolition. This is where the order of operations becomes absolutely critically important. You can't just start deleting things at random because all these resources depend on each other. Trying to do it in the wrong order is like trying to remove a building's foundation before you've taken down the walls. It's just not going to work. Let's take networking as a perfect example. You have to follow this exact order, no exceptions. First, you disconnect the network interfaces from the VMs. Then you can delete the public IPs. Then you take out the gateways that connect the networks. And only after all of that is done can you finally delete the virtual networks themselves. It's a masterclass in dependency-based deletion. Once those core dependencies are handled, most of what's left is just cleaning up entire resource groups. And you've basically got two tools for this job: the Azure portal, which is a very manual, click-by-click kind of process, or you can use PowerShell, which lets you automate the whole cleanup and wipe out dozens of resource groups with just a single script. And now we've reached the final act. The structure is down, the debris is being cleared, and it's time for the aftermath. This part is all about pressing that final button and then verifying that the site is truly, completely, 100% clear. So before Azure will even let you get near that big red button, it makes you go through its own final safety inspection. It runs this whole checklist to confirm that, yep, all the subscriptions are gone, all the users have been evicted, all the applications are deleted. You literally cannot proceed until you are staring at a screen full of green check marks. The moment you hit delete, a 90-day countdown clock starts ticking. You have this tiny, tiny window, maybe a week if you're lucky, where you could potentially call support and reverse it. After that, your subscriptions start getting deprovisioned. And then, at that 90-day mark, it's over. Everything is permanently and irretrievably gone. 90 days. That is the number you have to burn into your brain. That is your window. After that, there is no recovery. There's no undelete button. There is no going back. It is the absolute point of no return. So, what's left? A couple of final administrative tasks. You have got to check that next billing cycle to make absolutely sure there are no zombie charges coming back to haunt you. And finally, you create a formal decommissioning report. This is your proof. It's for the auditors, it's for the history books, and it's your confirmation that the job was done right. So, if we boil this whole thing down, the code for a successful digital demolition is really just this: plan meticulously, like an architect, back up religiously, like a librarian, execute precisely, like a surgeon, and verify completely, like a detective. And that really brings us to our final question. You followed every step to the letter. The tenant has vanished from Azure systems, but with all those backups you have to keep for compliance and logs scattered across who knows how many other systems, is your organization's digital footprint ever truly, completely erased? That's something to think about.